Welcome to the Movie Spoiler Club, the channel where you can watch movie, television, and streaming series within minutes. Today we're going to spoil the movie Ant-Man, 2015. This movie story plot is about, forced out of his own company by former protege Darren Cross, Corey Stoll, Dr. Hank Pym, Michael Douglas, recruits the talents of Scott Lang, Paul Rudd, a master thief just released from prison. Lang becomes Ant-Man, trained by Pym and armed with a suit that allows him to shrink in size, possess superhuman strength, and control an army of ants. The miniature hero must use his new skills to prevent Cross, also known as Yellow Jacket, from perfecting the same technology and using it as a weapon for evil. The film opens in 1989. We see Hank Pym going to meet Howard Stark, as he heard that Stark is attempting to recreate an Ant-Man shrinking technology that he invented. Hank quarrels with Carson and Stark, then leaves the premises saying that he will not give the formula to anyone as long as he lives. With that incident, Hank resigns from S.H.I.E.L.D. We see Scott Lang being released from the San Quentin State Prison. He is accompanied by his former cellmate Lewis, who was released before Scott, and who also offers Scott accommodation in his home. Scott refuses to go back to the field, so he finds a job but gets fired because of his criminal record. When Scott returns to Lewis's apartment, Lewis introduces Scott to Kurt and Dave, because he received a tip about a robbery they can commit together. But Scott refuses to engage in it. Over the talk with them, it's revealed that Scott had been in prison because he found out that his previous company has been overcharging their customers, so he hacked into their computers and transferred millions back to customers' accounts. Meanwhile, Hank receives an invitation to a presentation from Pym Tech, the company he established. He is greeted by his daughter Hope Van Dyne, and Hank's former assistant Darren Cross. Here Cross introduces a suit named the Yellow Jacket, which is nearly finished developing and is similar to Ant-Man's suit. After Cross leaves, Hope asks Hank to let her put on the Ant-Man suit to stop that mission, claiming that she has Cross's complete trust. Hank denies it, saying that he has found a guy for the job. In the next scene, we see Scott going to his daughter Cassie's birthday party. Cassie runs up to him and hugs him. The soon-to-be stepfather Paxton joins the conversation and forces him to leave the party. Scott gives his daughter a gift and she gladly accepts it, saying it's very ugly. Then his ex-wife Mackie asks him to make the child support payment if he wants to visit Cassie. Helpless, Scott leaves the party after Mackie tells him to try to be the hero Cassie thinks he is. Before Scott goes back to the apartment, he calculates that he'll have to wait over a year to earn enough to provide child support and see Cassie again if he's doing a low-paying job. He enters the apartment and agrees to engage in the robbery. Lewis explains the tip he got about an old man's safe sitting inside his house while he's away for a week. Then they start getting ready for the robbery with Kurt and Dave. With planning and getting the equipment, that night, Kurt disconnects all the landlines and jams cell signal in that area. Scott jumps over the wall and enters the garden. He climbs up the house wall and disconnects the alarm system. After he enters the house through a window, he goes to the basement and opens the door, but he sees another fingerprint-coated door, which they did not expect. He finds a tape and takes Hank's fingerprint from the main door and unlocks it. As he approaches the safe, Scott sees that it is made of strong steel. He drills it near the lock and pours water inside, freezing it with nitrogen. The safe door breaks down because ice expands but metal doesn't. Scott enters the safe to find nothing else than a suit and a helmet. Disappointed, Scott grabs the suit and escapes the house. We see Hank is observing the whole thing, sitting in front of a set of monitors. The team heads back to the apartment as they didn't find the treasure they were looking for. At the apartment, Scott decides to check out the suit he got from the safe, wondering that why it was so heavily guarded. He puts on the suit and helmet, but cannot figure out anything. He notices a red button in the glove section and presses it, causing him to shrink into the size of an ant inside the bathtub. Then he hears a male voice inside the helmet. His friend Lewis comes looking for him, but doesn't notice Scott in the shrunk version and opens the tap of the tub. The flowing water takes Scott away from the tub, and Scott falls floor by floor, eventually out in the street onto a car. There he returns to his normal size, with a voice saying not bad for a test drive. Terrified by what just happened, Scott takes the suit back to the house he stole it from, only to get caught and arrested by the police. He's put in a cell again. Soon the guard comes and tells him that his lawyer has come to meet him. Surprised by that since he doesn't have a lawyer, he goes to see the visitor. There he meets Hank Pym, the old man whose house Scott broke into to find the suit. Hank offers him two choices: join with him or to spend the rest of his life in prison. Although confused, Scott agrees and Hank gives him the suit back. Using the suit to shrink, Scott escapes the jail with the guidance of Hank. with unexpected help from a group of ants. Scott wakes up in a bed to find Hank's daughter, Hope, watching him. He joins with Hank and Hope at the table for the breakfast, and he learns that Hank engineered a rumor to lure Scott into stealing the suit. As Hope leaves to meet Cross, Hank explains Scott about the suit and its purpose. He explains how he recruited Cross as his assistant and student to work with him, but he refused to share the knowledge of the shrinking technology as he saw its danger. Hank tells Scott that now Cross has developed a similar technology, and they need to steal it before Cross sells it to wrong hands. They'll be saving the world because Hank believes that shrinking technology is capable of mass destruction. Hank promises that if Scott helps him, he'll be able to be with his daughter, and Scott accepts. At the Cross Industries, Cross finishes the development of his yellow jacket suit, succeeding to shrink a living being. Hope asks Hank to get permission to wear the suit and do the job, but Hank refuses and tells her to keep spying on Cross. They begin training Scott for the job, as the suit comes without shooters. Hope guides Scott for combat training, and Hank gives him 2 tabs, one to shrink and another to enlarge objects. At the end of the training, Scott is now able to master the suit and has learned to control the army of the ants. Hank sends him to a first mission to steal a device from a warehouse of Stark Industries, but unknown to him, it's been converted to the new Avengers facility. In the risky mission, Scott gets caught up in their defensive systems and engages in a fight with Falcon. Although got noticed, Scott manages to sneak in and steal the device. After he returns to Hank's residence, Hank reveals the truth about the death of Hope's mother. Both of them were engaged in investigating the suit and its technology. Once there was an ICBM missile launch targeting the US, so Hank and his wife, who was called the Wasp, were trying to stop it. Even being an ant size, Hank is unable to infiltrate the ICBM's outer body. As time was running out, the Wasp decides to shrink into the subatomic size and infiltrate. With that, she manages to stop the missile, but as she couldn't return to the normal size, she was thrown into a quantum realm. Hank goes to his office after getting the device from Scott, but is confronted by Darren Cross, who's been waiting for him in the room. Cross seems to not know about Hope's involvement with Hank under his nose. Then he leaves the house after inviting Hank to the unveiling of his yellow jacket technology. On his way back, Cross calls Hope, who's still in Hank's house, to tell her to tighten the security, including closing vents. With this, it seems that he's onto Hank but still trusts Hope, so now the vents will be closed. A problem arises of how will Scott get into the facility. Scott proposes that they can use the water main to get in, but someone has to reduce the water pressure in it. As Hank and Hope will have to be near Cross, they decide to call in Lewis, Kurt, and Dave for the job. Lewis as a fake security guard, Kurt to shut down the power, and Dave as the getaway man. They discuss the plan and set out for the adventure. Lewis gets imposing as security and depressurizes the water mains, enabling Scott to sneak in through them along with the ant army. Scott plants explosives in the building but gets caught into a glass tube when being attempts to steal the yellow jacket suit. It's revealed that Cross had anticipated the burglary and had known that Hope was working for Hank, and the reason he tightened the security was to limit options for Scott so that he can be easily caught. Cross plans to sell the technology to Hydra and also kill the Ant-Man, the only rival to his yellow jacket suit. As Cross points a gun at Hank to kill him, Scott uses one of the tabs that Hank gave him before to break free from the glass cage. He takes out the Hydra agents, saving Hank and Hope. Cross tries to take the technology and escape in a helicopter, but Scott comes after him with the help of the ants. Hank and Hope get out of the building just before the explosion occurs, using his keychain to enlarge it into a giant tank. The whole building blows up onto the ground, destroying all documents and experiments regarding the shrinking technology. Meanwhile, Cross puts on the yellow jacket suit and engages in a fight with Ant-Man in the helicopter. Both fall out from the helicopter onto the ground, and in the fight there, the yellow jacket gets stuck into a bug zapper. But before Scott captures Cross, Paxton, the husband of Scott's ex-wife who's a cop, comes in and arrests him for illegally escaping the jail. Making use of the opportunity, Cross goes to Paxton's house and threatens Cassie's life to draw Scott in. When Paxton realizes that Cassie's life is in danger, he runs in front of his house, and Scott sneaks out from the police car to face the yellow jacket. After ensuring the safety of Cassie, the two engage in a battle. Eventually, Scott also shrinks into the subatomic size and gets into the yellow jacket suit and sabotages it, destroying Cross in the suit. This causes Lang to disappear into the quantum realm, but hearing Cassie's voice, Lang manages to reverse the effects and get back into the normal size and into the real world. In the aftermath, we see Scott Lang attending to dinner with his ex-wife Cassie and Paxton. Paxton says that he has covered for Scott to keep him out of prison, out of gratitude. Later, Lang goes to meet Hank and Hank congratulates him for coming back from the quantum realm, which leaves him to wonder whether his wife is still alive. When Scott leaves the house, Hank sees that there's a romance been developed between Hope and Scott. When Scott returns, Luz tells him that Sam Wilson, also known as Falcon, is looking for him. In the mid-credit scene, we see Hank showing an advanced prototype of the Wasp suit to Hope, which he had been working on with Hope's mother. He says that it's time to finish that work, offering the suit to Hope. In the post-credit scene, we see Steve Rogers and Wilson have found the Winter Soldier, Bucky. They discuss their next step but decides not to tell it to Tony Stark. Rogers thinks that they're on their own in this case, and Wilson says that he knows a guy to contact, marking the end of the movie. Movie trivia. Do you know that when Paul Rudd told his 9-year-old son he was going to be Ant-Man, his son said, "Well, what? I can't wait to see how stupid that'll be." This movie gets the movie rating of 7.3 from IMDb, Tomatometer rating of 83 and audience score of 86 from Rotten Tomatoes. Thank you for watching and be sure to hit like, subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments section, and hit the notification bell for the new movie spoiler video every week.